Hey everyone, welcome back. 2026 is coming up faster than you think. And believe me, it's bringing a whole new ballgame of economic changes, new rules, and new chances to get ahead. So today, let's build your financial roadmap. Let's figure out how to navigate all of it. And this is really the million-dollar question, right? The economy's shifting. Are your finances actually ready? Because it's not just about some headline number you see on the news. It's about what that means for your wallet, your savings, your future. Okay, so in the next few minutes, we're going to connect all those dots. We'll start with the big picture economic stuff and then drill right down to the tools and even the personal psychology you can use to build a way stronger financial future. Right. First things first. To build any kind of solid plan, you've got to know the lay of the land, right? You have to understand the environment you're in. So let's kick things off with that big picture, the economic outlook for 2026. Okay, so first up, growth. JP Morgan is projecting about 1.8% real GDP growth in the US. Now, look, that's not exactly a rocket ship, but it's not a crash either. It's a sign of stability, a kind of steady, chugging along pace that shows the economy has some real resilience. But, and this is a big but, while the economy's growing, inflation is kind of like that house guest that just won't leave. The forecast shows it's going to stay sticky, hanging out above the Fed's 2% target. And why does this matter so much? Because it's literally eating away at your purchasing power and the real value of every dollar you save. So you might be asking, where's the growth actually coming from? Well, a massive piece of this puzzle is AI. I mean, check this out. Spending related to AI is expected to jump by a whopping 33%. And this isn't just some passing tech fad. It is quickly becoming a core engine for business investment and the whole economy. And this right here really shows you the tightrope the Federal Reserve is walking. It's a balancing act. On one hand, they have to wrestle down that sticky inflation we just mentioned, but on the other hand, they can't do it so aggressively that they crash the job market. It's super delicate, and whatever they decide to do is going to shape interest rates for the whole year. So let's bring it all together. What's the takeaway for you? Basically, we're looking at an economy that's growing, but at the same time, your money just isn't stretching as far as it used to. This backdrop, this whole situation, makes it absolutely crucial to use every single tool at your disposal, which actually is a perfect segue to the new rules for saving. Now, the good news is you're not helpless against that inflation. There are ways to fight back. Every year, the government tweaks the savings limits to help people keep up. And honestly, the changes for 2026 open up some really powerful opportunities to supercharge your nest egg. Okay, just look at these new limits. Your 401k contribution, that's jumping up a full $1,000 to $24,500. Your IRA limit is up by $500 to $7,500. And hey, don't sleep on your health savings account, your HSA, because those limits are getting a nice little bump too. Every single one of these increases is a new chance to protect more of your money from taxes and just grow your savings that much faster. But hold on, there's a really important new rule here, especially for higher earners. If you're over 50 and you made more than $150,000 last year, any of those extra catch-up contributions you make, they have to go into a Roth account now. And that is a huge strategic shift. Think about it. You're giving up the tax break today, but the trade-off is that all of that growth, all that money, can be pulled out totally tax-free when you retire. That's a big deal. So knowing the rules is step one. But what about the tools? How do you actually put this stuff into action? Well, that brings us to one of the frankly coolest and most accessible tools for modern investors, the robo-advisor. What is a robo-advisor? It's really simple. Think of it like an automated investment manager in your pocket. You just answer a few questions. What are your goals? How much risk are you cool with? And its computer algorithms do all the heavy lifting. They build and manage a diversified portfolio for you. Now, when it comes to costs, there are really only two things you need to keep an eye on. First is the management fee. That's what you pay the robo-advisor service itself. Second are the expense ratios. Those are the tiny fees built into the funds like ETFs that the robo-advisor actually invests your money in. Your goal is just to keep both of those numbers as low as you can. And what's great is that some platforms even get rid of their fees entirely if you have a smaller balance, which makes it just ridiculously easy and cheap to get started. So why even consider one of these? Well, the perks are pretty clear. For one, they're way cheaper than a traditional human advisor. Two, they automatically rebalance your portfolio for you, so you're never off track. Three, a lot of them offer really advanced strategies like tax loss harvesting, which is just a fancy term for a smart way to lower your tax bill. And maybe best of all, the account minimums are often super low or even zero, so you can literally start with whatever you've got. All right, we've talked about the economy, we've gone over the new rules, and we've looked at the tools. But there's one last piece to this puzzle. And honestly, it might be the most important factor of all. It's you. It's understanding the person in the mirror, your own psychology as an investor. The CFA Institute has this great framework that breaks it down into three parts. Let's start with factor one, your risk need. This is basically just the math. It answers the question, to hit my goals, whether that's retiring in 20 years or buying a house in 5, what kind of return do I need my money to make? That number becomes your target. Okay, but needing a big return is one thing. Being able to chase it is another. That brings us to factor two, your risk ability. This is all about your real-life financial situation. How long do you have to invest? Is your job secure? This stuff determines your actual practical capacity to handle a market downturn without it completely wrecking your plans. And last but not least, factor three, your behavioral tolerance. This one is all about your gut. How do you feel when the market gets rocky? I mean, really, what's your emotional reaction when you log in and see your account is down 20%? How you handle that stress is a massive part of whether you'll be able to stick with your plan when things get scary. But listen, of those three things we just talked about, need, ability, and tolerance, there is one golden rule that trumps all the others. And it's this: no matter how much you need the growth and no matter how tough you think you are, your financial ability to take risk is the absolute ceiling. You should never, ever take on more risk than you can afford to handle if things go south. That is your non-negotiable safety net. So, there you have it. We've gone all the way from the 30,000-foot view of the global economy right down to the nitty-gritty of your own personal investor psychology. We've talked about the challenge of sticky inflation, but also the huge opportunities with the new savings rules and all these amazing automated tools. So after all that, the only question left is the one you see right here. What's the one financial move you're going to make to prepare for 2026?